behalf of the Nubian Committee, I welcome you all in this Cultural Day. The planning of Nubian Cultural Days started 15 years ago since the establishment of the Nubian Committee in the United Kingdom, in which we intended to reflect on the civilizational face of Nubia. We also stand for the Nubian affairs and matters in our homeland. The Nubian civilization transcends its local barriers to become a part of the universal human heritage. Today coincides with the 51st anniversary for the compulsive exodus which was imposed upon Nubians following the construction of the High Dam in the year 1964. Today's theme is, together we can safeguard our beautiful Nubian heritage, culture and language. We have a number of activities combined by lectures inspired by our great history. We are honored to have lecturers who are going to enlighten us using a historical and scientific solid facts about the great Nubian civilization, led by the one and only Professor Heyerman, and a scientist and expert who is specialized in the ancient and modern Nubian language. Also, we have other lecturers and activities who are keen to preserve the Nubian heritage. Some of today's headlines are the construction of dams and its threat to our natural resources and agriculture, the frequent burning of palm trees, the random mining and environmental pollution, theft of ancient Nubian monuments and antiquities, and we hope you all have a good time.
أشكركم جدا جدا. Oh, you're going to introduce me?
Okay. السلام عليكم، كل عام وأنتم بخير، كل عام والنوبة بخير، محمية من إغراق آثارها، محمية من حرائق النخيل، محمية من اندثار اللغة النوبية، الإعجاز الكبير، اللغة المكتوبة والمقروءة منذ آلاف السنين. الآن نقدم لكم برفيسور هيرمان عالم اللغة النوبية قديما وحديثا. Now we will present to you Professor Heyerman.
And I want to say, I heard myself described as the one and only Heyerman. After this, you will be very happy that there is only one Heyerman and not anybody else. Okay, I'll start out first of all by saying Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. And I want to say Maskagro, Ursikar Fidjuro, and Korega Ninala. However, I would like to say, I can't help but think that during this calling, there are some people who are grieving and some people that are sad. We've had very, very bad news from Makkah al-Mukarramah, as you know, and we want to think about the families, the people who have been suffering there. As we are happy here to be together, there are other people who are sad. And so we think of that. This is the way life is, of course. And I think about it especially because about a number of years ago, I can't think of how many years, it must be at least about 12 or 13 years ago, I was in a plane flying over Makkah al-Mukarramah in the middle of the Hajj. How it happened, I don't know. It just happened, I booked my passage. And that happened to be in a year when there was also another very serious stampede and difficulty, too many people trying to push through. So I'm especially thinking of that as we start our program. I also want you to know that I come here with royal support. Not from Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, but from my king, Uruani. Uruani is sitting next to me, and you'll be hearing him next. Always when I telephone Dr. Abdulhalim Sabah, I begin by saying, "Wo Uruani," and he replies very nicely and very graciously to me. I believe through his mother he is a descendant of Ibn Uru, who, as you know, was displaced unfortunately in the Turkiye in 1821. So there is some historical, he belongs to the group of people who claim this historical, a very interesting one. Now, being an Uru, he has the right, can you hear me? Being an Uru, he has the right to grant me a position. And my position, I thought, was going to be very grand. As I was walking the Rijlain to come here to this meeting, I came along a street called Sirdar Street. Sirdar. This was Kuchina. Maybe he will make me Sirdar. So when I asked him what my position was, yes, it had the word Sir in it. I was Jaysir. But I am a Jaysir. I am his Jaysir. But as you know, a Jaysir is more like a Murasla. So Murasla, as you know, I hope there's no one who doesn't know Arabic, but as somebody who just takes messages, a message. So I became a messenger boy. My role is a messenger boy, and I receive orders from Uruani, my king. Now sometimes I make jokes, sometimes I make bad jokes. And so instead of saying, "Wo Uruani," I say, "Wo Ulumani." Now, ulum, as you know, how many of you know what a ulum is? Lots and lots, but some people don't. The ulum comes through the water as a big mouth, and as you know, I think sometimes you call him Zumsah. But anyway, so I say to him, "Wo Ulum." Now there is a good reason to say "Wo Ulumani." As you know, the Nubians are a people of the river. And the river is something we will come back to again and again with great love, because we are losing the world is losing, we are losing our river. Bit by bit by bit, we are losing our river, and we sad about this. When my king was a small boy, he would go to the river. He would see a crocodile. But he knew what to say. He would say, "Angi, Angi." And you know what that means. Oh, my mother's brother. Oh, my mother's brother. And the ulum, the crocodile, would never bite him. And this is what all Nubian children say. I don't know whether it's true, I hope it is. He says, no Nubian child has ever suffered from a crocodile. But I'm not going to tell you that as a fact, it's too dangerous. And I don't want anyone here to test it. And say, well, I want you, but I do think, but whenever you go into the river and swim, as I hope you will, because it's a lovely river, and I like swimming in it. He likes swimming in it. His father, and believe me, even his mother loved swimming in the river, I believe, in the old days. And so the river was a very big part of their life, and they all could say "Angi, Angi" whenever they saw the crocodile. If you go through and look at the houses in old Nubia, the houses in old Nubia have crocodiles very often on them. And so it is something of which people are very conscious of this. Now, the thing that I was actually من المهاجرين. I was مع المهاجرين في القطر. In سنة 1964 I went to Khashim al-Girba with the people from Argin. My wife with me. We went and we lost our home as well because we lived in a big fire engine, which we made as a beautiful house, and the fire engine got flooded, and it's now under the Nile in Wadi Halfa. So I hope that sometime I will be given a small house in Wadi Halfa to make up for my fire engine that my wife and I lost. Up until now, I have not heard any messages to that effect. What I'm going to talk about today is something very serious. Are we doing enough to remember our river? This is a river that belongs to the world. And for thousands of years, you were the people who guarded this river and kept this river. Now, because of powerful forces, people are removing the river from us, bit by bit, through dams. And the problem with the dam is, it takes money away from the people of the river, people who live alongside the river, and puts it in the hands of other people that you must trust to do good things for the people. You must trust them. And it's not quite the same as controlling something yourself. When you know your own needs, you know the needs of your family, you can take care of yourself. So I do hope that parts of the dam was. I was very happy when I went back 3 years ago and saw that Saeed Markasha was still there. Not his actual gubba, but I remember Saeed Markasha في الأرض الحجر في زيارته من البقر. I'm not sure whether we have baqar today, or to slaughter for the feast, but there are these traditions that are closely associated with the river, and this is what that I remember. Now, I think we should take the poetry of great men such as Muhammad Wardi. 6 years ago, I was privileged to be on the same stage with Muhammad Wardi, and he was singing beautifully. It's a great concert. It was put on by Dow. And I feel that one of the great things that he said, he composed, was something a few of you have this. I've passed it around the room, but I will let anybody have it later. One of his own memories, after he had been for a long time in California, he wanted to go back to the Sudan, he wanted to see the river again. And he remembered a person who taught him how to play the kisir, the rabab. And that person was Ali Salim. And you probably know that poem that he wrote. It's partly musical, partly just spoken, in the beautiful voice of Muhammad Wardi. What I think we should do is, we should make this available as a document, well studied, well explained, and so people who use the internet and want to reach the young people have a very, very solidly studied piece of work. Not just something that they hear and they don't really understand because maybe they're losing the language, but something where they can understand the language and hear the beauty of it. Now I have just worked on a couple of initial things from this, but I'm going to read it to you now. And just to tell you, to show you the beauty of this thing. And you probably know it. In fact, I'm entitling this, Wo Sugar in Canteen, Londona Maskakiranam. In other words, the boat or the canteen which comes with the wedding guests is arriving even in London. And what it is, it's a vision of what happened on the River Nile in the distant past by the person who taught Muhammad Waldi how to play the rabab, Ali Salim. And so his poem goes, Sugar in Canteen, okay. Adam Ali Said Salim and Tangis Cook Kikani, Ayani, Insiran Tokkani, Owel Anna Kawi, Bako, Sigiriko, Natiko, Yani Amantu Artigu, Imalekir Owel Anna Benji. In Sirato. I'm working on this poem. I've been very, very lucky to have worked also with Mr. Saeed Ibrahim Osman Sulbawi, who actually heard Ali Salim play the rababa, the kisir, and he lives here in London. London is rich with people who know the past and know the great things about the past. We mustn't think you only have to go to Sudan. Sometimes we don't need to go any further than London to find people who can help us to explain and enrich the background of this poetry. And what I would like to see us do is have a real program of working together, each doing our own little thing. My king, he will do his thing. He's very brilliant in the language. I will do my thing because at least I can ask questions about the language and I can help to interpret it for people who only speak English. Some of your children are like me. They only speak English. Maybe a little bit of Arabic, but so I think this is something which is a joint effort that will interest many of us, because all of us want to capture not just the poem itself, but have an understanding, a deeper understanding of the historic relationship of the Nubian people with the river. Thank you very much.
السلام عليكم. أنت يا نوبة عشقي، أنت يا نوبة عشقي، بعد عشقك ليس للعشق بقية. أنت يا نوبة أم ليس له أم وراعية الرعية. في دمي حلفة وعبري فيك يا نوبة فاض الكيل وانسكبت بقية. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. اسمحوا لي باسم اللجنة المنظمة لهذا اليوم أن أرحب بكم جميعا في يومنا النوبي الثقافي هذا. لقد درجنا في الرابطة النوبية بالمملكة المتحدة منذ إنشائها قبل حوالي 15 عام على تنظيم يوم مفتوح نعكس فيه وجه النوبة الحضاري مع التطرق لكل قضايا النوبة في وطننا الأم وفي المهاجر. إن الحضارة النوبية بوصفها مكتسبا إنسانيا عالميا تتجاوز محليتها لتصبح شأنا إنسانيا عاما. ولعل الجميع يتفق معنا في أن حضارة عريقة بهذا الحجم تستحق أن يخصص لها أكثر من يوم نوبي وأكثر من يوم مفتوح على غرار يومنا هذا. يشتمل اليوم النوبي الثقافي اليوم الذي نقيمه هذه المرة متزامنا مع الذكرى 51 لنكبة الهجرة القسرية لأهلنا النوبيين في كل من جنوب وشمال وادي النيل في أعقاب بناء السد العالي عام 64. يشتمل على العديد من الفقرات التي نتمنى أن تنال إعجاب الحضور اليوم. يومنا الذي نقيمه تحت شعار معا للحفاظ على إرثنا وثقافتنا ولغتنا الجميلة يشتمل على عديد من المحاضرات التي من شأنها تقديم تنوير علمي صافي على هذه الحضارة العظيمة. يأتي على رأس قائمة الشرف البروفيسور هيرمان عالم اللغة النوبية قديمها وحديثها، والذي يحمل مع آخرين عبء إحياء لغتنا الجميلة. ثم هناك الدكتور عارف جمال محمد أحمد، لا أدري إن كان قد وصل أو لا، نحن في انتظاره. الأستاذ بجامعة برفيسور في كاليفورنيا، والناشط النوبي الدكتور عبد الحكيم صبار الذي ستكون مساهمته حول دولة الكندامي في التاريخ، والأستاذ محمد عبد الحليم الإعلامي الخبير مدير القسم العربي للإذاعة الهولندية معنا اليوم، جاء خصيصا من هولندا لمشاركتنا هذا اليوم. وأيضا معنا الأستاذ فكري كاشف المبدع والمتخصص في كل ظروف الإبداع والفن والفولكلور والموسيقى النوبية. كذلك تتحدث إليكم الأستاذة فريدة الناشطة النوبية، التي أيضا إن كانت قد وصلت أم لا ولكنها منقطعة الطريق، هي موجودة، جاءت لتشاركنا هذا اليوم من السويد، حيث تستعرض أمام الحضور قضايا الساحة النوبية ومعاناة أهلنا النوبيين وهم يواجهون مختلف التحديات في سبيل الإبقاء والحفاظ على تراث عريق نجح النوبيون رغم كل عوائق الدهر للحفاظ عليه وسط بيئة طاردة ومستعصية. كذلك ومستعمل اليوم أو يشتمل البرنامج بالإضافة إلى معرض الكتب والمطبوعات والفولكلور النوبي على أمسية موسيقية وغنائية فيها بعض أساطين الفن النوبي الأصيل، وفي مقدمتها كل من الأستاذ فكري كاشف الذي قدم خصيصا لإحياء هذه الأمسية في منطقة أبو سمبل النوبية، وكذلك الفنان النوبي حسن صالح، إلى جانب فقرات من الموسيقى والرقص النوبي الذي يشارك أطفالنا في تقديمه. لن أتحدث اليوم عن التحديات والمشاكل التي تعاني منها المنطقة النوبية، الحديث عن ذلك يطول ولا بد أن أتركه لآخرين للخوض فيه. ومع ذلك لا بأس من ذكر عناوين رئيسية، فقط عناوين رئيسية من شاكلة سيف السدود المصاب على رقابنا بكل ما يعنيه ذلك من غرق لمواردنا ونخيلنا وآثارنا وطمس لتراثنا وثقافتنا وحضارتنا العريقة. هذا جانب. هنالك مشاكل التعجين العشوائي والتلوث البيئي وما يجعله من أمراض للبشر والحيوان وحتى النبات. حرائق النخيل المتكررة، تصوروا أننا في المنطقة النوبية فقدنا ما يربو على 200,000 نخلة خلال 8-9 أعوام فقط، مما يثير التساؤلات حول الدوافع والأسباب ومن يقف على هذه الظاهرة الجديدة الغريبة. هنالك سرقة الآثار النوبية واختفائها، هنالك التهميش الذي تعاني منها المنطقة